Welcome everybody to another episode of the Insurance Television Network. I'm your host, Joe Battaglia. You know, we always tell you to call in, give us some information about what topics you want to hear about. And today we have an incredible crew here, and we're going to talk about that initial phone call. You know, that initial phone call is very crucial. You have 15 seconds before that phone call hangs up. We're going to eliminate that for you. We're going to show you how to be different, smarter, better on the phone to make your conversation quotient go higher. The more people you speak to share your story, well, isn't that worth everything, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. First, we want to set the stage. This is an illustration that we're doing right now. Remember, the most important thing is that we always treat our consumers, the Medicare beneficiaries, with utmost courtesy and professionalism, right? And we make sure what we're looking to do is always provide them with the most comprehensive, the most suitable and affordable plan for them, not us. It's all about them. So with that, we want to look at certain things. Now, there are various ways that leads are generated, right? It might be a referral that you may have, right? It might be a business reply mail that somebody filled out, or it might be an internet lead, right? You know, the internet is the largest, it's the fastest growing segment of advertising out there is the internet, especially for seniors. So with that, we want to look at all the different messages, how to get to people. It might be social media. We don't know, but advertising is big business in this country, and marketing is huge, so we have to approach each one differently. So whether it's a business supply mailer or internet or social media, it really doesn't matter. It's a conversation that we all have to have, right? So we have to examine what we say and how we say it. Now, the idea is also, whatever lead it may be, there's also a certain way to talk to people. You know, from our other podcasts, you learn about DICE. Right? How different people speak different ways, right? There's those dominant people, there's those introverted people, there's those compliant people, and then the extroverts out there. Every person you talk to, you must immediately identify what they are. And once you identify their personality trait, you have to mold your conversation to those people. All agree?
Yes.
You know, how many of you have spoken to people who are dominant, right? We all do. What about those extroverts that are all over the place, right? They take you from one end to the other end and everything in between. You need to reel them in, right? And what about those introverts? If you talk loud to an introverted person, they're not going to listen to you, right? What about those accountants and CPAs, those very compliant people? Everything has to be very methodical, right? Everything is set. There's a step and a step and a step. Well, if you understand the people you're dealing with, well, and you mold your conversation to them, you're going to better the odds of sharing your story, how you can help people. So with that, are we all okay?
Yeah.
You all set the stage? You ready to go? You excited about this?
Yeah.
All right, beautiful.
Let's do it.
So here's what we got to look at is, you know, we always provide you with an illustration, talking points of what to do. You know, everything that we do is a customer service follow-up call, right? Because these people have responded to something. Either they went on the internet or they filled out a business supply mail, but no matter what they did, they have an interest. Isn't that safe to say, right?
Yes, sure.
They had an interest in everything that they did. Now, although they have an interest, they don't know you. They do not know who you are. You recall filling out something on the internet? You recall filling out something with a business supply mailer? A lot of people don't recall anything. But the idea is they did do it. And the idea is you must all have faith in what you do. You can truly help people. You all agree?
Yes.
How do you help people? What is it that you do to get to help people, Craig?
Providing them with the information they need to get the proper coverage to protect themselves from a medical problem or a cost.
Do you wish the products that you have, do you wish you could have it on your own, Steve?
Of course.
There you go. How about you, Trish?
Oh, definitely. We
Right?
can save them money on prescription drugs, on co-pays, get them
It works.
benefits they don't already have, that they don't know, they're unaware that they're entitled to.
Joyce, how about you?
Absolutely.
Right?
Sure.
So it's all a good thing. So here's what we need to do. We need to take this incredible story that we have to share with them, and we have to put it in a way so they'll listen before that 15 seconds and they hang up. Isn't that incredible?
Yes.
But when you really think about it, I mean, you know, Joyce, how many people have hung up on you?
Oh, many.
Many. Do you like this business?
Yes, I ignore it.
Michael, you ignore it, exactly. It's just an objection they're thrown because they don't know you, right?
Right.
Michael, do people hang up on you?
Absolutely, all the time.
You're new to the business, right? But do some people listen to you?
All the time, yeah, sure.
All the time. So
Yeah.
all the time people hang up on you, and all the time people listen to you.
Absolutely.
That's good. So how do we make more people listen longer? That's what the whole concept is, and that's what we're gonna talk about. So you know what's a customer service follow-up call? Our first thing we do is, hey, just a customer service follow-up call, Craig. You filled out a card about getting, what, affordable health insurance plan, or you're looking for plans to coordinate with your Medicare. I just wanna make sure that you've been taken care of. Now, we say that for a simple reason. What is it? To relax them, right? We wanna relax people, because once they're relaxed, they're okay. Everybody's very inhibited on the phone. When you call up and say, hello, is this Mr. John Somite? What? Automatically know you're a telemarketer. We can't do that. Be relaxed, have a nice flow in your conversation, and it's all gonna take place for you. So we know after we ask them, it's a customer service follow-up call, right? Have you been taken care of yet? There's only 2 replies. What is it, Joyce?
It's either yes or no.
Yes or no. So if a person says yes to you, here's what you say, wonderful. So I can close my files. What plan did you go with? Think about that. Now with the mindset, what you have to think about as an agent is, the mindset is, why did I say that? To relax them. I want to close your file. The idea is we need to start some dialogue, don't we? So how does dialogue start unless we say something they're comfortable in hearing? That's all you have to do. So I can close your file. What plan did you go with, Joyce?
I went with Empire.
You went with the Empire. What plan did you go with?
Aetna.
What plan did you go with?
Aetna.
It doesn't matter. Everybody has a plan they went with. But does that mean that they're on the right plan?
No.
How do they know that? They don't. They don't know that. But they don't know you. But if it was their grandson or granddaughter calling them, they would listen, right? That's what we have to try to do. So now the idea is this. I went with Aetna. I went with Empire. I went with ABC. I went with DEF. It doesn't matter what plan, because they do not know for sure they're on the right plan. Have you ever taken a person on one plan and put them on a more suitable plan, Steve?
Yes.
How many of you have? Raise your hand.
Yeah.
We do. We put people onto different plans if it makes sense. What's something that makes sense? To pay more or to pay less?
Less.
To have more medicines covered or less medicines covered?
More medicine.
You know it, so that's what it's all about, to have more medicines covered, to have more comprehensive health care, to lower my co-pays, lower my deductibles, get more benefits, more features, more added benefits. That's what it's all about, but they don't know you. So no matter what plan they say something to you about, here's what you say. I gotta tell you something, all the people I speak to, they have one common question they're always saying to me, one common concern. How do I save money?
Right.
How do I save money? Is that something you'd like to do? Of course they're gonna say yes to you. Now here comes the buzz phrase that you have to use all the time. Well, let me show you how I can help you. Repeat that. Let me show you how I can help you. Well, here's the bottom line. What do I need to help them? Doctors, hospitals, and medicines, right? So let me show you how I can help you, Joyce. Give me an idea. Who's your primary care doctor? Now, here's a question I ask of you. What are some of the objections you heard when you first asked somebody to get your primary care doctor? What did I say to you?
All the time, I'm okay.
I'm okay, that's wonderful, that's wonderful. I
I'm
gotta,
taken care of.
you're taken care of, that's wonderful. Now, just because they say they've been taken care of, here's what they're really saying to you. I don't know you, so I'm just gonna say this.
Right.
That's in the playbook for consumers, just say I'm okay. So invite that to come. Let them say I'm okay. That's fantastic, Joyce. But I gotta tell you something. Everybody I speak to says the same thing, I'm okay. But after I educate them on all the plans available and show them how they can save money, they say, my God, thank God you're around. Let me show you how I can help you. Again, give me an idea. Who's that primary care doctor? Don't stop because they said no. If a person called you up, what do you say? Yes or no? You all say no. You all do. We know this. Don't succumb to their no's. You expect it and then go with it. You expect it. Bring me to no. Bring me I'm okay. I heard it all. Bring it to me. Because we know this. You have to master the art of salesmanship. We know certain things are given. So you need to go around all these things and expect it, and there's no problem. So now they agree. So who's your primary care doctor? Dr. John Smith. Wonderful. Is that doctor important to you? Now, why do we ask if a doctor is important to them? What would you say, Bob?
Well, if they're comfortable and they want to stay with him, he's limited to certain plans.
Okay, exactly. So we don't want to limit, right, that person. So we want to make sure that that doctor is on that plan, right? Whatever plan's around, we need to know this. And what about the fact that, is that doctor important? Because maybe that doctor, right, if they haven't seen the doctor in 15 years, that's not an important doctor, right?
Exactly.
But if they have to see him every week, that's an important doctor. You better make sure that doctor's on. Do we all understand that, right?
Yes.
So here's what you have to look at. Now I need doctors. Doctors, first name, last name, address, and the type of doctor. Your specialist. Don't just ask for one doctor, get all the doctors. And as they're giving you the list of doctors, is there anybody else? Is there anybody else? Be thorough, be a detective. So any specialist, yes. What's their name? Where are they located? What type of doctor is it? Is that an important doctor? As you're gathering doctors, right, here's what you have to also find out. We're building a picture. You are very trained in what you do. If people have chronic conditions, if people are healthy, right, and everything in between, they require certain coverage. What do people want? Do people want a health plan that they pay a lot of money for, it covers all their doctors and hospitals, or you want to have a plan that costs you zero or low premium and covers all their doctors, house medicines?
Zero.
We know what they want, right? So you know what they want. So that's what it's all about. So we need to know, if I put them on another plan, that doctor better be on that plan, because then you're gonna be getting phone calls, you didn't do the right job. But it's very easy, because once you gather their doctors, right, and you make sure you have the first name, the last name, the address, and the type of doctor, and how important the doctor is, right? What's the next thing we need to look at?
Medications.
Medications, but before medication, let's stay with the doctors.
Hospitals.
Hospitals, right? So hospitals we need. So with the hospitals, what do we need to do? It's not just a hospital, it's any clinic, any facility that you go to. If a person said to you, I go for a lot of blood work all the time. Okay, what? Now that's not a hospital, that's a facility. Those doctors, you're gathering information. Let's say somebody has, Philip Bonds. What type of doctor is that? That's my endocrinologist. Well, do you have kidney dialysis? Yes. You know that you cannot help those people, right? You see, just as those people are looking to hang up on you if you don't provide the information they want, well, you in turn, not that you're gonna hang up in a rude way, but if you can't help them, well, it's not necessary to have a conversation anymore. You stop at a certain point. That's why gathering all this information, you will know. So let's say, for example, they go to a clinic for their blood work. They go to a clinic for this or for that, whatever it may be. Or they go to, again, here's something important. You have to find out, as you know, there are two types of plans. What type of plans can we offer?
HMO.
And those are called what?
Yeah.
Medicare Advantage.
Those are Medicare Advantage plans.
Supplement.
What's the other end?
Medicare supplement.
Now, if a person has a chronic condition, maybe a med sup is right for them.
Right.
Because doesn't it go with the amount of times and how important in the chronic
Yes.
conditions, right?
Yes.
So use like a common sense approach. As you're questioning these people about their doctors and hospitals, you're learning more about them, right?
Yes.
As you learn more about them, well, still they want to have this comprehensive coverage, but they don't want to pay a lot. So it's this careful, mix of plans to find out what they want, but here's the bottom line. You can help anybody. They might not be on the right plan. And if they're not, I'm going to help them. If they are, congratulations, you are. You're on the right plan. Now, the idea is we gathered their doctors, their hospitals, and very thorough. Do you go for any types of physical therapy? When a person tells you a doctor, Dr. Shapiro, what type of doctor? Oh, that's my physical therapist. We do know that most physical therapists make you come how often?
Once a week. at least.
Multiple
Once a week.
At least.
Right?
At least.
2 times a week, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
So the idea is, and what's the prognosis? Will you be going there for years to come? Oh yeah. You need to have a what now?
So that's up.
A supplement, because you have to look at the cost involved, right? So that monthly premium for a med sup might outweigh the co-pays on a Med Advantage plan. True or false?
Sure.
There you go. So what we want to look at is, how do you give them the plan that makes sense for them? So we went to doctors, went to hospitals, and went for medicines, right? So we did that. Now, suppose now somebody, what objections do you come up with doctors and hospitals? Is there any objection that you hear from people? What would you say? Anything?
Not really. Once in a blue moon, someone will say that seems like private information.
Okay.
And if they don't want to give it, they do want to give it. You can explain to them that nothing can happen with that, but ultimately, if they don't want to give it to you, you move on to the next
Exactly,
person.
right?
Yeah.
The idea is we are here to help people. we're not cyber thieves. The idea is we're trying to help people, and occasionally you will get people that just are hesitant because they don't know you, and that's fine. But the idea is if a person is hesitant, and this is why on other podcasts, we really practice how do you brand yourself, right? Think about this. How do you brand yourself? So when a person says to you, I don't know you. Well, okay, I'm a nice guy, I'm a nice gal. No, it doesn't work. But go to my website. That's exactly it. Go to my website. You have your picture on it and it explains everything about that. Go to my website. That's why websites are so important nowadays. Have you ever gone to websites?
Yeah.
We all do. So the idea is you went to a website. So you can simply say, go to my website. Listen, I want you to be totally comfortable. And in fact, listen, I'm associated with a company that helps thousands and thousands of people every single year. It's my pleasure to share helpful information. So doctors and hospitals, now what do we need? Medications, right? Now think about this, right? Medications are so darn important, right? If a person's doctor, right, let's say a person has 5 doctors, right? And let's say for argument's sake, it's an HMO, Medicare Advantage plan. And you have 5 doctors, and only 2 doctors are on this plan that's an HMO. Is that the right plan for them? No. Why?
Because they want to stay within the organization of the carrier, and if the doctors are not in the organization, forget it.
Right, so if the doctors are not in the plan and it's an HMO, well, you're restricted. That's no good. But what happens if you have a PPO and you have 5 doctors and 3 are in and 2 are out? That's a consideration now, isn't it? Right? It's a consideration, right? Now let's say the person has 5 doctors and no doctors are in.
No good.
No good. What is a plan that makes sense for them? The MedSup. So you see what you're doing is you're matching plans to what their conditions are, right? Now here's something else. Well, the medicines now. You're learning about the medicines. So what do we need to know about medicines? What would you say?
We need to know the names, we need to know how many times a day, what the milligrams are,
Okay,
whether it's a generic or a brand.
right? So whether it's generic or brand, we need to know that, right? What is the medicine used for, right? Because again, going backwards, the idea is if they tell you that they have a particular medicine, and what's that for? Oh, that's for my kidneys. Now, did they mention any of those doctors up there being a kidney doctor?
No.
Because maybe they have end-stage renal disease, you can't help them.
Right.
Remember, what you are doing is you're screening them to find out what plan makes sense for them, right? And you do not want to waste their time, and you want to be considerate of your time too.
Sure.
So it has to be a careful mix. So we need to be involved in questioning what's right, what's wrong, who, what, where, when, why. We have to know all these things, right? So I learned about all your medicines. So I got your doctors, your hospital's medicines. Now you all know that you have a suitability questionnaire, right? You all utilize this, right? Now what are some questions on a suitability questionnaire? What's some other things that are important? What would you say,
Well,
Trish?
what's very important is, do you have Medicare A and B?
Right,
Because you don't even want to do anything
right.
until you find that out.
So what we're doing is, think about this now. Now you're either working the turning 65 market, or you're working somebody who's already on a plan,
Right.
and we're changing them because of an SEP. What's some of the SEPs at a time of the year you can change people? What would you say?
Well, Epic is.
Epic, or the state pharmaceutical plan in the 13 states across the country, right? What else?
OEP. right?
OEP, which is from what, January 1st to March 31st, right? You get that
Yeah.
one plan change. What else?
And then you have the,
LIS.
LIS is what? LIS is low income subsidy, depends on your income, right?
Right.
What else?
AOP,
Which one?
AOP,
AEP.
AEP, so AEP, right? And that's from October 15th, right, to
Dual.
December 7th,
Losing a dual, well,
Dual.
just being dual quarterly on the dual.
right? What do you think?
When someone's retiring?
When somebody's retiring, loss of employment. You see, what you have to look at is there are so many times in a year to switch people and aid people that this business is incredible. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
So the idea is once you identify that they have A and B, right? So it's very important. And what do you say to somebody? Because the idea is, do you have A and B? So since they're turning 65. If they're already on a Medicare health plan, they already have A and B, don't they?
Right.
But if they're turning 65, right? And how many people turn 65 every single year in this country?
11,000.
11,000. Everybody repeat, 11,000 people.
a day.
How, a day, how can we help these people?
Help.
It's too many people, but that's okay. So the idea is, what we look at is this, right? So you get their doctor's hospital medicine. You start asking for questions about, do you have Medicare Parts A and B? Yes, I do. Now, when a person says they have Medicare A and B, what do you say, Michael? How do you confirm that they do have it?
I ask them if they have their red, white, blue card and what their issue date is.
Right? Take the card out of your wallet. What does it say? Well, I don't have my wallet. Okay, well, do you have a card? I haven't seen it in years. Well, what do you need to do? Call 1-800-Medicare and get that. You need to get certain things to make sure, because the one thing you never do is waste an appointment. Don't do that. When they're prepared, you're prepared, and everybody will be happy, right?
Know before you go.
Know before you go. Tell me about that know before you go. What is that all about, Joyce?
Basically being prepared, knowing exactly what the customer has in terms of, the medicines, doctors, and hospitals, and being prepared, in advance to give them the option.
So how many of you know what plan that person is going to sign up for before you go there?
You need to.
You need to. You need to know before you go. So I'm getting all this, right? So I know before I go. I'm getting all this information, right? So now I got their doctor's house of medicines. I've confirmed that they have their Medicare Parts A and B on the red, white, and blue card, right? What are some other concerns? Steve, what's another concern?
What are some things that are important to you? Dental, over-the-counter medication?
There you go, those added benefits, right? Does Medicare give you dental vision?
No.
No.
Yeah.
No. Does Medicare cover you for worldwide emergencies? No. So there's a lot of extras that they're looking for, right? And just think about it, what would you ask for in a plan? Whatever you would want, well, that's what they want too. So it's the same thing. What's some other concerns you need to know?
Are they on Medicaid?
Are they on Medicaid, right? How do I know if I'm on Medicaid? I don't know. Well, call Social Security and they'll tell you. But what's that card to show you're on Medicaid?
Blue and white card.
Boom, what?
In New York, in Florida, it's a gold card. In California, it's another card, right? They're all different cards. But every state has Medicaid. But there's different levels of Medicaid. And again, if you're not sure of something, be sure to call into us and we'll show you everything you need to know. Because we practice know before you go. What's some other concerns you have to think about?
Well, you have to think about if they are on a group plan leaving it, you need to find out who else is on that plan.
What's
with
on the
them.
plan, right? We need to know that, right? Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if their family members are on it and they're under 65, well, I don't know about that, right? But if the group health benefits administrator says it's okay for you to come off and your family stay on, which is highly improbable,
Yeah.
well, then you're okay.
Right.
But you're probably not. So the idea is sure you want to save money. Do you think that a person going on from a group health plan onto Medicare and a Medicare health plan, you think they're saving money?
Oh, yes.
They are. But if they have to help a spouse or children, it's not going to happen. It's no good for them. You have to look at a lot of things, deductibles, co-pays, and who's the coverage additionally for, right? That's what makes sense. What's some other concerns you might have? Yes?
Veteran.
What's a veteran? Think about this. Every single veteran that says to you, right? Did you ever get a veteran on the phone and says, no, I'm okay, I'm a veteran?
Yes.
Share a story. Now you're going to hear a story, so use it. So many years ago when I first started, I went to a husband and wife, I sat down with them. So the husband had Medicare and had VA coverage. The wife had Medicare. So I signed the wife up and I said to the husband, hey, why don't we put you on this plan too? It was zero. No, I don't need it, I'm okay. And you know what happened? Years later, they called me up because the husband got sick one day, was rushed to the hospital overnight. They brought him to the local hospital, not to the VA hospital. And right away, he got complications. He was in the hospital for many months, came out with a bill for hundreds of thousands of dollars when that all could have been eliminated and drastically reduced if he would have chose and got the additional coverage that cost him zero. So for a veteran, first of all, thank them for their service to this country, but the most important thing, they're eligible for a plan to cap their costs outside of the VA system, right? So it's a good thing, right? What's some other concerns? Think about this.
Do they travel?
Do you travel? Now, why are you saying that? Do you travel?
Well, if they go to Florida or something like that.
We need to
is it
know that,
covered
right?
there?
Right.
So we need to know all that, right? So traveling is important. So if they travel, what does that mean? They see a doctor? No, you need to ask that question. Are there any doctors that are important to you when you travel to other states? Oh, no. Is there any doctors you regularly see? Yes. You need to know. First name, last name, address, because maybe the Medicare Advantage plan has travel rewards or passport programs or lets you utilize those networks in other states. You need to ask those questions, and again, we're here to help you with that, right? So now I got their doctors, hospital medicines. I learned about their travel. I learned about their clinics. I learned about their needs, right? What else do I need to know about? I know they have Medicare Parts A and B. What else?
Well, you can ask them if they get any extra help, and if they're not sure, you can ask them by finding out how much they pay for their medications.
There you go. So what Trish is bringing up is this. There are certain plans that they need to be eligible for to give them additional and enhanced benefits. Let's talk about the duals, right? So dual SNP plans. You know what Medicare Advantage, it's broken down into HMOs, PPOs, and dual SNP plans, and chronic SNP plans, and 5-star plans. I know it gets crazy, but don't worry, we'll show you that. But the idea is there's something for everybody. And if somebody is eligible for a more enhanced plan, well, then we want to give it to them. So we need to know a little bit about that, right? So that's a simple question to ask about LIS and if they have a benefit card, right? So that's all something. What else? Is there anything else we have to learn about?
Are they coming off union coverage? Or
Union
will
coverage
they-
is like group health coverage, right? We need to know about that. Most union coverage nowadays is just for prescriptions.
Right.
So the whole thing with doctors and hospitals, that's really winding down with unions. But ask, and does it cover you and a spouse and children? Again, that same thing we have to think about, the same concern is, can they come off, right? We need to know that. So any other concerns? Anything else that people, that you need to ask about?
Yeah, I mean, so if they only have Part A and B, and do you have a Part D? Because if they don't have a Part D drug plan, that's a whole other conversation.
Right, they get that penalty, right? So we gotta make sure that penalty is avoided, right? Marie, the penalty is very important to avoid that. Because if they don't, when a person is what? Eligible to go on to Medicare, A and B, if they do not choose a Part D plan, they get a penalty. That penalty is not a lot of money, but here's what the penalty is. If you don't have a Part D plan when you need it, what are you gonna do for your prescriptions? Are medicines cheap in this country?
No.
A lot of money. Did you ever go to a pharmacy and when the pharmacist says to you, Trish, here's the medicine, it's $97. Take $125. Have some extra money on me. Bob, when you go over and you go for your medicine, the doctor says it's $362, you go, wow, I can't believe it's that expensive. I'm so happy. What does everybody complain about?
Price.
The high cost of healthcare, the high cost of prescriptions, and that's what you're able to cap. That's why what we bring people is so incredible, because we're capping the high cost of healthcare for them. So now I got their doctors, their hospitals, their medicines, all their concerns, right? Now what do, right? Remember, I have to get their attention, attract their curiosity, tell a story about Medicare a little bit, how Medicare is basic coverage. If you go to the hospital with Medicare, you're going to spend a lot of money. The longer you stay, the more you pay. Medicare doesn't have Part D prescription coverage. And if you use your Part B when you go to the doctors, what's that percentage you have to pay? 20% of the unknown. That could be a lot of money. So the idea is now we got all this information, right? I told the story about Medicare being basic coverage. Now it's this incredible offer. It's the offer. Well, I got to tell you something, Tom. Based upon the information you share with me, hey, I can help you. I can help you. So we're showing that this is available to them, right? So we're showing there are wonderful programs. You portrayed and you let them see how knowledgeable you are, right? And now comes time for the appointment. In the past, a lot of agents, a lot of financial advisors, a lot of insurance agents, whatever it may be, they always go for this second appointment. How many of you go for second appointments on this business?
No.
No, it's one appointment. And the appointment is only because I know before I go, and I'll sit down with you if I know I can truly help you. I need to know your doctors, your hospital medicines, and what plan you're on. When you know what plan they're on, then you can help them. Mm-hmm. So now this appointment time. I got to tell you something. Let me do this. I'm going to be in your area tomorrow. Not that I'm going to be in your area 3 weeks from now. Remember something. If you don't get that appointment, who may get that appointment?
Competition.
Your competition. So you need to make sure you're ahead of the competition because it's out there. Do you want to ever have in your past business models, did you ever call somebody back and they said, you should have called me, Tom. I just signed up. I didn't hear from you for a month. I signed up with somebody else. Did you ever get that?
Sure.
You will not get that in this business if you follow our marketing programs. So it's very important. So now you got this and you set this appointment. I'm going to be in your area tomorrow. I can only spend 20 minutes with you. Think about what other insurance agents do. Tom, I'm gonna come by with one of my associates. We're gonna sit down with you for 3.5 hours, and we're gonna show you a boring PowerPoint presentation on all of this and that and this, really to confuse you, and then we're gonna come back 3 or 4 times, and we'll see which plan you want. How crazy is this? Folks, that's the old way of doing business. We don't do business like that. Keep it simple. So the idea is you go by yourself. And here's something very, very important. This business is so flexible, right? How many of you visit with people? Raise your hand. How many of you people mail applications to people? How many of you people do online enrollments? Folks, you understand what this business is all about. If you talk in a certain flow, you will get them to see that you can help them. They see value in you. And once they see the value in you, you can either go on that appointment or you can enroll them online, mail the apps, whatever it may be. I haven't visited a person in years. They will come to me, or I mail applications, right? The idea is whatever you want to do, whatever business model you want to go through, you do. But here's one thing I want to share with you. You told me a number of how many people a day in this country are turning 65? 11,000. When I first started this business, it was 9,000 people. 9,000 turned into 11,400 and growing exponentially every single day in this country. That's why this business will keep you very, very happy. How many of you are happy now with this business compared to what you did in the past, right? So that's what it's all about. So you made this appointment. Now that you made that appointment and you made it for as soon as possible, and you tell them, you know what, Trish, I can only spend 15 minutes with you because I have other folks in the area to meet with. Here's what I want you to do. Make sure, number one, have your red, white, and blue Medicare card handy. Have that handy because I want to make sure you get everything you're eligible for. Okay. The next thing, take my name and telephone number. If something happens, let me know because I'm so busy. Now, you're not going to say to people, because it's not going to be the case anyway, give me a call back because you know what? I really have nobody to visit with for the next 3 weeks and you're my only prospect, my only client, and I hope you keep it. No. The idea is, remember something. We are not in desperation in this business. The idea is that people see value in you, you go on that appointment. If you can help them, you go on that appointment. So now you set this appointment. Well, the idea is, does that necessarily mean you're going on the appointment?
No.
So tell me, what's the steps you do, Trish?
Well, now you have to do your research.
What research?
Well, we go to Lead Advantage Pro.
Okay, so again, how many of you know about Lead Advantage Pro, right?
Yeah.
So for those of you who are new to our organization, we have a software program called Lead Advantage Pro, right? So Trish, can you explain it to people out? Can you also tell us, how do you utilize Lead Advantage Pro?
Well, it really simplifies the whole process.
Okay.
You input the information that you've gathered from the potential client. You put in their name, their date of birth, whatever Medicare information that you've gotten from them, and then you put in all their medications and all their doctors.
Okay.
And their zip code, because it goes by area, so
Okay.
that's very important. And then you hit quote. And
What does it do?
up will pop like magic every single plan
Right.
that's in the area. And in addition to that, it has a little system that shows you which plans have all of the doctors, which plans have some of the doctors. Then you can click on the drug cost, you can click on the summary of benefits. It just cuts the research time in less than half than the old way.
That's pretty good. So let me ask you a
You
question.
can print out an application.
And there's something else. What else was that,
And
Trish?
this too, you can print out an application and you
Wow.
can email the application.
You can email the
right
application.
from LA Pro.
Think about what this is. We're truly in a digital society, so to make things easier, and that's what senior service is all about, to make things easier for you. The more easier we make it, the more you produce, and the more we're all happy. Look at the smile on your
We're
faces.
so happy.
When I started this business many, many years ago, we didn't have something like that. And I would have to go and fumble through books of all the carriers and go through books to find out every doctor and provider, make sure they were on that. And it was very time consuming, but the idea is that's what it was. So we migrated towards a system, right, that makes it easy for you. Because isn't that what we all want? We want to become very productive and not work very hard. There you go. Now, that Lead Advantage Pro, how many of you are using it today? How many of you? So all of you. Do you like it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now tell me, of course, It costs a lot of money to put that together, right? So tell me, how much do you pay for that every month through us?
The big old zip.
Zero. So it's zero for you because it is for them and it helps you, right?
Right.
So that's important. So now you realize that you can help them, right? So you're going on an appointment. But what happens if you realize, because it's now OEP or AEP, or they're already on a Medicare plan, and you find out, because what's going to happen is with Lead Advantage Pro, is going to show you the plan that makes sense for them. So what happens after you input all the information and what spits out is a plan that's right for them, and they're on that plan already? What do you do, Tim?
You call them up, you say, congratulations, I did the research. The plan you're on is the plan for you.
There you go. Now, what you might say, Tim,
Is, but, since,
but
since I looked for you and everything, I did thorough research, and thank God you're on the right one. Do you have any friends that I could possibly help, like yourself?
exactly. Now, what about another but? A but. Here's a but. But what do you do know? What do we know? So if you have done your research, right, and you know every plan has those additional benefits. So additional benefits. So let's say you're talking to a person who's 65, fit, hikes, sees like an eagle, hears like a whatever. The idea is this: if the benefit says that we give you $3,000 a year for a hearing aid, does that really matter to them?
No.
But what happens? They're on a plan, and you did your research, right? And they're telling you about a dentist. And they're telling you about this particular dentist. Is that dentist important to you? Oh yeah, I go there all the time. I'm getting new work all the time. Wonderful. And you know the plan that popped up doesn't have too much comprehensive dental associated with it. But what you could say is now, and again, you did all your research, and that plan makes sense, but the idea is, you know what? They could use some dental. So you might say, hey, you know what, Tom? I have to tell you something. I do know, though, that plan doesn't have comprehensive dental. And from hearing from you, I don't know if you are aware, but you are eligible for some other dental plans that are really affordable in your area. Is that something for you? Yeah, I didn't know about that. You see, the idea is this. You have a prospect who becomes a client and then becomes an advocate. The only way somebody becomes an advocate is if you what?
Help them.
They trust
Help
you.
them and trust
Do the
you.
right thing.
So if their agent or broker did not show them something that's important to them, like comprehensive dental, and you did, now you got your foot in the door to help them with products that make sense for them. You see, every single person that you talk to has a lot of products and services. These concerns that they have, right? You need to help these people. So you need to make sure you address all the concerns that they have, right? So now let's say you were on the appointment now. So now you went on the appointment because it made sense to be on there. Well, now what episode do we go to now is what? Is on the appointment episode that we've already done, right? So you look at that now. You see, everything we do is a careful flow, right? The idea is when you talk to people, it has to be in a very relaxed way. You have to share with them your knowledge. But remember something, don't be boring. Remember, on the phone, what do we practice?
Dead don't sell.
Dead don't sell. Thank you.
DDS.
DDS, dead don't sell. So if you're dead on the phone, get out of the business.
Forget it.
The idea is we're not an infomercial, right? We're not used car dealers. What we are is, we're what? We're helping them, we're educating them about things that make sense for them. So dead don't sell, know your products, right? Know how to talk, identify those people who are dominant. If a person is dominant, you better talk dominant to that dominant person, right? You can't talk calm and meek to a dominant person. They're gonna railroad you off the phone, right? If a person's an introvert, a quiet person, don't be dominant to that person, just talk a little bit louder than them. If a person is very compliant, right? Everything dot your I's, cross your T's. Make sure mathematically everything makes sense. You're showing them line by line. That's very good. And those extroverts out there, make sure those extroverts, right? And you can identify extroverts with certain things that they do, right? So if you go on an appointment, right, and you see that they have pencils that are chewed up, the tops are bitten off. That's an extrovert. They're all over the place. If they have pictures of everybody on their walls, you know what they're all about. On that initial conversation, if they're talking to you and they're going off on different tangents, you need to bring them back in and get to the job at hand. You're going down this road. People will take you off on tangents, but what do you need from them? What?
Doctor's
That's not
house.
the drugs.
There you go. And what plan they're on. It's as easy as that. So what would you say to people? So, Stephen, what's something you would say to somebody, watching this today about what do you do on the phone, that initial conversation? What's it all about for you? Now, first of all, and you can lie if you want, but the idea is, how many of you come in every day and look forward to making phone calls so people can hang up on you? Nobody does. Nobody does. But guess what, folks? It's part of what we do.
Right.
So if you feel that people hanging up on you is getting annoying, who cares? Give us a call. We don't charge for therapy sessions. You know that, right? We don't charge. So if you want to vent, give us a call. We're here for you. So, Stephen, what can you share to our viewers?
I'm gonna tell people I'm here to help you.
Okay.
I represent most of the major carriers.
There you go.
I help thousands of people.
Now, what about if a person says, oh, well, I'm all right, I have a broker. Well, does that broker represent all the carriers, right? Think about that. There's lots of ways to enroll on a plan. There's lots of ways to talk to people, right? You might have seen a billboard.
When was the last time you spoke to them?
When was the last time you spoke to them? Exactly, right? So it's important to what? Always be there, ABT, right? So DDS, dead don't sell, ABT, always be there, right? These are all things, right? Let's see how good you are. What does PPP stand for? If you take one of those out of the equation, you do not have a sale. Think about that. PPP. The first P is people. People buy people. If you were dead on the phone, they're not going to buy you. Did you ever talk to a dead person on the phone?
Yeah.
When I'm saying they're not animated on the phone, what do? You hang up on them, right? So people buy people. What's the other thing? Well, the other P is product. Product. Are you selling a product that makes sense for them?
Yeah.
Do you believe it?
Yeah.
You have to, because you wish you had it. And the other thing is price. Think about this. Are you selling them something that costs a lot of money?
No.
No.
Most plans are zero. How do you go back? How is that wrong? So if the only thing, the product and price makes sense, the problem is you. You have to shine in everything that you do. So when you're talking to people on the initial phone call, you got to shine through that phone. When you visit them and you knock on that door and they open the door, it's showtime for everything you do. Whether it's picking up the phone on the initial conversation, it's showtime. Whether it's you opening the front door when they greet you, it's showtime. Everything is a show. Think about it, right? The Emmys, the Academy Awards, any show you go to, it's a show. Make it a show. That's what it's all about. Would you say that everything that we do at Senior Service is a show?
Yes.
It's a show. Enjoy what you do because that's what it's all about. Make it a show. How many of you are satisfied with this business?
Yeah.
You love it? How many of you started and it wasn't great in the beginning? It happens. Who cares? It don't matter. But here's what I do know, is that if you keep on doing things the right way and you sharpen your skills, your phone skills, you're on a right path to success. This business can make you incredible wealth, not money, wealth. So the idea is, how much do you want? It's all in those phone calls. It's all in those initial calls you make every single day. People are going to hang up on you. But you have to be smart and play the right way to navigate down this road where you know what to expect. You know what to expect. They're going to give you all these objections, all these concerns, but it's all because they don't know you. So what I want to look at is, and I just want to share with you, is this. You all told me it's a wonderful business. You all told me you get hang-ups. You all told me you write lots of applications. You all told me you do not go on appointments that you are not going to write. You have a 100% closing ratio. So should you. So the idea is you have to carefully navigate everything you do and play smart. And you'll make incredible money, guaranteed. Anybody has an objection to that? I don't think so, right? So I want to thank you all here today for being part of this podcast, and I want to thank our viewers for being part of this today. I hope you will take all this information and run with it. Run with this information because you can make a lot of money. Can they?
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. So I practice what I preach. They practice what they preach. Now it's up to you to do the same thing. So I want to thank you for being part of this episode today. And if you have any questions or concerns, anything you want to learn about, let us know. We are here to help you. So thank you, everybody. See you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye now.